Well, I've just started recording because I was going to go for a walk on the podcast.
Lovely. Open the kitchen door for me, please.
Yes, I can. You see how she orders me about, listeners. You got that on recording.
Please, you little bastard.
There we are.
Thank you.
You've been to the Chinese supermarket.
Yes, I've got some puffy tofu and some dim sum. We've got this char siu bao
Oh.
and the half cow dumplings, which are the little rice.
Hey, I've just suddenly remembered.
What?
I've done a song about
yeah.
dim sum
Yeah.
with Harry and Hamish Fagan, sons of Nancy Kerr and James Fagan, the folk duo. Well, folk singers, of course, in their own right.
Yes.
And
As are
married
the boys
couple.
now, because they're in a band.
Yeah, exactly. Called Distant Sun.
Underground Sun.
Underground Sun.
Very close.
Yeah, well, they are very close. They're related. I don't know why. I think we were just having dim sum one day with them.
Yes, we were. Oh, that's
Oh, what do you think that's? Mystery sound, everybody. Something's just fallen on the floor. You could probably hazard a guess, bearing in mind we've just been talking about it. But it might be completely... It's not that. All right, well, pause this, come back. We'll tell you what it is now. Okay, Ellie, if you hopefully you've had a chance to guess, what do you think? What was it?
Well, how about I pick up the packet and you try and guess from the field?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I know what these are called. I know what they're called.
It's featured in one of your other songs.
Oh, bok choy.
Yeah.
Bok choy. But, you're right.
Yeah, we've got a parcel up with that.
Oh, well, that's another discovery. What do you think the parcel might be, listeners? So have a little think now, and he's just got to get it, and you just have a little guess about the parcel. So many fun features that we have here. I will get out for a walk at some point. I mean, we have done this before where I have started recording with the intention of going for a walk, but then Ellie's been there. I've ended up just spending so long speaking to Ellie that we've then abandoned the walk completely because I'd already recorded for about 10 or 15 minutes. Whether that will happen today or not, wait and find out. But Ellie has returned with parcel in hand, or maybe hands, I don't know. Just the one hand, so that gives you a little bit of a clue. You might want to reevaluate your choice. Ellie, I mean, I've said about this, I've no idea. You might not want to reveal the parcel. It might be very sensitive.
Well, it's some photos, David.
Oh, okay.
It's some
So
photos.
if you guess some photos, well done then.
It's some photos I've had printed for work.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the dim sum thing, Ellie.
Yes.
So we were having some dim sum, and then we wrote a little song about dim sum. Well, we're going to try and find that, and we'll play that out at some point on the podcast. Maybe I'll try and put a little bit of music over the top of the dim sum song, see if I can jazz it up a little bit. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be the best thing ever. You know, this is a song that we just wrote very quickly. I mean, I say wrote. A lot of it was improvised. I, wrote it in tandem with... Can you say in tandem if you wrote it with two other people? Because tandem means two. Well, no, I'm going to say collaboration. I was just wondering on the use of the word tandem there, whether it was permitted or not. So we'll try and find out anyway. And we'll play it out at some point on the podcast. But right now, I must go for a little walk. All I've had to eat today, by the way. What's the time, Ellie?
3:15.
Oh, you could have had a little... I should have done. What's the time, Mr. Eagle? A wasted opportunity there. Listeners might be thinking, was not on the ball with that. They'll be very disappointed. 3:15. All I've had to eat today is half a pepper.
Oh, not even half a peck of pickled pepper.
Well, that would be less.
Sincerity, it might be more.
Well, it depends how big your peck is.
Peck of pepper.
I don't know what a standard peck is, if there is a agreed measurement for a peck.
Oh.
We were talking about pecks last week, of course.
I
But
think
in a
there
different
must
context.
be a standard measurement of a peck.
Do you think?
Yes, because wasn't it a measurement, and that's the whole point.
Maybe. I wonder how many pecks Gregory Peck is. Crow. We can all guess that, Olivia. We don't need your input. Yeah, I hope you can hear the crow on the mic. Otherwise, you're probably going, why has he just said crow? I'm just telling Ellie to crow. It's a little predilection of mine. Yeah.
A peck is an imperial and United States customary unit of dry volume equivalent to
Bloody hell, that's a
8
very
dry
oddly...
quarts or 16 dry pints.
That's a very oddly worded sentence,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yes.
Well, does that really scan very well? It doesn't sound like it scanned very well to me, that sentence.
Okay.
Do you not think? You seem as if you're absolutely
Well,
fine with that.
It's an imperial and United States customary unit.
I think I made my point.
Your face.
Okay.
Pecks are a bushel.
Ah.
So in the song,
When people say don't hide
I
your
love
light.
you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck. And a... That's so that's 5.
But when they
5
say
pecks.
don't hide your light under a bushel, that must be a different bushel. Because if this is a volume of liquid, is it?
Yeah. Well,
Or is it like a
dry-
barrel? I'm a bit confused as to what a peck is. Actually, it can't be a liquid because it's a pickle pepper.
That's from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount.
I love
apparently.
you, a pickle
no,
and a peck.
Don't hide your
A
life
bushel.
under a bushel, you knobber.
I don't remember him saying that. Don't hide your light on your bushel, you knobber. So hang on, I'm confused. I thought it was liquid because you said something about a pint.
It's a dry measurement. So if you were to use a pint glass...
Ah, I get it.
Of
Because obviously
rice.
Americans do that, don't they? They measure things in like cups and things.
Yeah, I really hate cup measurements.
I imagine it's better in some ways because it's more accessible. Because if you know what a cup is, so if they're a blind person...
What size of a cup it is.
But it's a universally agreed upon cup. It's not just like some JD Sports mug. People have been using JD Sports mugs. Going, bloody hell, there's a lot of chili in this, my friend. We were about to head out for a walk. I thought, it was just a little short conversation with Ellie. But we still haven't had a walk. Anyway, so yes, how many pecks is a Gregory? That's the question. What the hell's this?
It's the sourdough starter.
Oh, you bugger! She's just stuck a sourdough starter in my nose there, which is a nice smell, but it's quite aggressive. Okay, so much going on. I don't think she wants me to leave. She keeps trying to keep me here by thrusting sourdough in my face, talking about pecks. So we need to work out if we can calculate how many pecks a Gregory is. You can work it.
Okay, so...
If we can work it, we need to know his height and his weight.
His rough weight.
Or general dimensions.
then-
Well, we'll see if we can work that out, listeners. Or maybe that could be a little challenge for you to work out how many pecks a Gregory is. As in Gregory Peck, of course. Oh, and I'm just literally at the door, and Ellie has called me back again.
But if the listeners are doing that,
Yeah.
I suggest that they do it rather than we do, because we've got other things to do with our lives.
Okay, whereas you, listeners, you've got nothing. Yeah, that's why you're listening to this.
If they could send in their estimations or their calculations and explain their working, maybe.
Yeah,
over
because I
time.
suppose it can't be 100% scientific here. You know, like you've got to... Anyway, we'll leave that to you. We want to know how many pecks a Gregory is. Okay, when we say Gregory, you could do it different Gregories. You could do Port Gregory, any Gregories that you want. I don't know if we're accepting Gregs. I think they have to be...
I think it needs to be a full Gregory.
It needs to be a full Gregory.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all... I suppose no, because Greg is just short for Gregory. Or are people called just Greg?
Well, some people are called just Greg, like some people are called just Ellie.
Some people are called just William.
Indeed. Narrated by Martin Jarvis. Bye.
Oh, that's a good question, listeners. If you could have anyone to narrate your life story, who would it be? Olivia will love this. This is the kind of thing she likes. This is your local radio stuff now, Olivia. So don't have a go at Olivia.
Who would do yours, David? You're quite the connoisseur of audiobooks. I think I'd like either, for me, Emma Thompson or Dawn French.
Oh, that'd be good. Oh, I'd like Michael Sheen
Oh, of course.
to do my life.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen reading the Philip Pullman books is an absolute delight. What a wonderful way of bringing a story to life. I mean, he's a wonderful actor in the... You saw...
I've recently been watching Michael Sheen on The Good Fight, and he's great. He's playing a New York Jewish lawyer with no scruples, and you can tell he's just
no scruples. No scruples is absolutely brilliant. I love him.
He's playing Ronald Blum, and he's having such a fun time. You can tell he just loves it. He's just growling
He's having
and
fun
barking
being
at
Blum.
everyone. Ronald Blum is a New York attorney.
Oh, there she is with her impression.
Played by
Okay. Well, we know that she's going to sign off this week in a New York accent, listeners. She's going to sign off as Ronald Blum. When we're done, she'll bring out the Blum. Michael Sheen, you also saw Michael Sheen in Nye.
Yes,
as well, the theatre show Nye about Nye Bevan.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
The National Theatre.
Well, I mean, I think...
Non-for-profit actor that I know of.
Oh, yeah, he's a non-for-profit actor.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, I'm a non-for-profit podcaster.
You certainly are.
So, there we go. I mean, there was outcry from certain listeners when there was a 22-minute episode, which is quite endearing, really. It's quite endearing that people... You know, like people didn't go, thank goodness, David, for the little break. People were like, oh, you can get back to your long ones next week, David. I think this is... If I go for a walk now, this is going to be too long.
Well, why don't you...
So we could split this up. I mean, what I'm about to say is maybe not necessarily advisable. I was going to say it's not advisable because it's going to sound very odd and maybe inappropriate to say in a public setting. But then, having said that, it's probably not particularly brilliant to say to you, but I feel like we know each other quite well. We can talk more candidly, but as for anybody else overhearing, that's a different matter. Especially as I walk past a school playground. So maybe I'll have to wait till the end of the walk to tell you what I'm thinking about, but there's something at the moment that's rankling me a little. It's playing on my mind. I'm in a little situation of discomfort, and I'd like to correct that discomfort. I'd say so. This will probably give it away. In fact, you're working out where we're going here. I'm in a certain position of discomfort, just in the way a certain something is positioned, and I'd like to correct it. It's got a little twisted, and I'd like to correct it, but obviously, how to correct it? And oh, bloody hell. I won't get it out now. Not with that dog around. And I have tried twisting my body around, like twisting around a little bit to see if I can dislodge it from where it's currently housed. I'm assuming you've worked out what I'm talking about here, otherwise this is very odd. Well, I say it's very odd. Someone would argue it's very odd regardless. This is obviously perfectly normal, this, but imagine how weird it would be if you hadn't worked out what I was talking about. And that might be a little bit odd. So I've tried twisting around to see if I can move things about to a more desirable position. But alas, that is not the case. I mean, I could try and... I don't know how... Trouble is, as well, not being able to see. I don't know. Now, this is, by the way, this is one of the downsides of being blind. It's not all sunshine and roses. There are some cons as well, my friends. I know you only hear about the pros, but one of the cons is knowing, firstly, when it is safe to maybe try and make an adjustment. Because, you know, there might be a situation where there's clearly no one around. You can get away with, I'm going to say it just because I want to make sure you definitely know what I'm talking about, sticking your hands in your trousers and just adjusting to a more desirable position than where it is right now. You know, for instance, I just thought I've just come to a bit here where there's a big wall to my left, and I thought, oh, hello, I thought that might be a safe space because it's a bit quieter. And then I just heard a woman speaking there. So that's one problem. If you could see, you'd know where to do it, if at all. Well, the police have obviously heard what I've said. And the other thing as well is that you'd also know, if you could see, you'd have more of an idea of what would be discreet. So even if there were people around, I might be able to just get a hold of the front of my trousers and just give it a little shake. You know, it might not look like anything. It might look absolutely fine because no one would notice. The way that you do it, I could just pretend I was tucking my shirt in, or, well, I could. I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm just tucking in my shirt, and that would be more conspicuous. I was just, hey, if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm just tucking in my shirt. You haven't got a shirt on, mate. It's a jumper. Oh, I've been rumbled. What's that what you've been doing, is it? We have heard some names written in my time, but and obviously now I can't. We are now getting to another playground. This is the park playground. This arguably could be the best time to do it, because presumably all the parents will be looking out for their children, so they'll be looking at the children. So this would be the perfect opportunity, you could argue, to do it, but I don't think so. I don't think that would stand up, but I was just referring to me doing the readjustment rather than my actual appendage that we're talking about here. That will stand up. Thank you very much. Actually, I'll say that, it won't at the moment, the way that it's positioned. You don't get this with the shorter ones, and this is the thing. We'll have some Glory supporters who only listened last week because we had Felicity Finch, and of course the Unthanks were on as well. But they won't check out this kind of thing. They won't be listening to me talking about how many pecks is a Gregory, songs about dim sum, and me wandering around a park talking about adjusting my genitals. I think there's nobody around now, but it's a very open space. So to me, it doesn't feel safe, but it probably is the best place. I could really do with a bushel to hide. Oh yeah, we never established. So what is a bushel then? Presumably that is it a vessel? Because you say under a bushel. Does it just mean, I don't know, is a bushel Anyway, I know what some of you will be thinking. You've tangented here, David. You get back to the subject at hand. Well, it's not at hand. My subject's not at hand. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. We're back on that. Ah, dear. You know, there's a few things in one's career where it might suggest that you're on an upward trajectory. Doing a few things on Radio 4, getting a little TV appearance. A year or two goes by and you realise that no one's knocking on your door and you're just a man who's walking in a park, talking to a handful of people on a free podcast about wanting but not being able to adjust one's genitals because you're not sure if it'll be able to see or not. I mean, arguably, talking about it at a reasonable volume. I say reasonable, I mean an audible volume rather than it being a reasonable volume. I don't think there's anything reasonable about this. But I was talking about it. It probably would have been less conspicuous to have just done the adjustment than it is to talk about it at length. Well, if I do say so myself. We're getting to a point now on this walk where it is the most secluded bit. And that's probably the moment where I could. But I think I am going to leave it. I think we were talking last week about certain orators. And I think there are more than one. Ben sent me a message. I'll find Ben's message because he had some thoughts about that, but not about adjusting my genitals. Don't worry, Ben. That's just between you and me. And I realise that's a private message. Private and private. I've got a special folder for our little chats. And this is just for you. This wasn't meant to be for the public domain. This is just meant to be for your little private podcast, Ben. But I'm quite busy this week. So, I thought the listeners, they'll just have to have this as well. I hope you don't mind that the other people, I know they're not paying for this, but this is the kind of thing you can get if you pay. Ben takes out a weekly subscription, and each week I do a little podcast for him where I wander around the park and talk about my genitals, and he enjoys it, and I don't ask questions. Anyway, last week I was talking about certain orators will deliberately not go to the toilet. I'm talking about a number one here. I think a number two would be very different. But they will deliberately not go for a wee before they do their speak. I'm losing my power of speech now. I am very much distracted. This is the problem. I'm distracted by the situation that we've already referred to many a time. And it'll help with their speeches, that's what they think. Because there's a certain urgency, a certain energy about having a full bladder. I mean, it could backfire. I mean, that's more of a number two, really. If you think you've got good enough bladder control, but you suddenly realise that you haven't, and you just have to go for it. Maggie Thatcher's like, you turn if you want to. The lady's not for turning. She's like, I'm so glad I had a full bladder there when I delivered that, because I delivered it just perfectly. And then she suddenly goes, actually, I should have gone to the toilet, actually. And then everyone's thinking, oh my goodness, the lady should have been for turning, because we really didn't want to see that. I don't know if you heard that. The little child said, why has that man got a stick in his hand? Now, let me just say for the subtitlers, I did not do the genital adjusting that I was referring to earlier. That child said, why has that man got his stick in his hand? I just want to make sure that isn't misconstrued there. I don't know if the parents said or not. Some parents feel a little bit awkward about just saying, it's because he can't see. Oh, there was a lovely moment. A child asked their parent why I had a stick with me. The parent clearly didn't want to say. She was like, I'll tell you later. But the thing is, I could obviously hear, so there was absolutely... You might as well have just said, it's because he can't see, or whatever. It'd be absolutely fine. It's not like I'm going to get offended. It's like, how dare you remind me of my blindness? I know that I'm blind. I'm not going to get offended. So it's all right. I don't mind if you obviously, I don't mind explaining. It's absolutely fine. So I said, I'll explain. I said, this is my magic wand. And the child seemed absolutely flabbergasted by this, which I was very much enjoying, because I thought the child might go, no, it isn't. But she seemed to believe me, and I said, for instance, I can get it to do magic tricks. And as the tram approached, I turned it into a bus. I know I said tram before, but I had my magic wand with me, so I made the tram into a bus. That was my trick. The child couldn't believe it. I said, you would like to see a magic trick? And the child was like, yes. I don't know what the parent was thinking. If the parent was amused by this, or just thought, don't feed my child this nonsense. If it was like a progeny of Richard Dawkins, he'd have been absolutely livid with me at this point. I said, well, I can make myself disappear. I think we got stuck at the lights as well, so we were waiting. So I thought, I can't do it now. I've got to say, so we need a magic spell. So I got the child to think of a little spell. And I said, right, we'll do it. We'll give it a go. And then the tram got to my stop, and I said, do the spell now. Sure enough, the child did, and then the doors opened. I waved my stick, and then I walked off the bus. That was, I don't know how impressed they would have been afterwards. I don't know if that's a moment that stuck with them. They thought, well, in fairness, he's disappeared. That was incredible. How did he do that? I don't know what they thought. I couldn't ask them, but somewhere there might be a child that remembers that experience. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how he did it. It was a man who disappeared. I mean, presumably the child realised I walked off the tram. Just a little aside. Anyway, back to Margaret Thatcher pissing herself. I said that I'd been telling this story on stage, and I said it was a great orator, someone who was very well known for their speaking skills, but I couldn't remember who it was. But I'd heard it on some sort of some Radio 4 documentary or something. I'd been telling this for a few days on this tour, and said I was trying it myself. And someone came up to me after one of the gigs and said, oh, I know who that was. It was Enoch Powell. So therefore it felt a little bit weird. And I'd been going, oh yeah, he's a brilliant orator. And essentially just be coming out all this bigoted stuff. But yeah, if his bladder control wouldn't have been as good as it was, people would have remembered it as his rivers of piss speech. I think Ben, because Ben has messaged me. I won't read all your messages out, Ben. Our little private stuff is safe. Yeah. Oh, Ben thought it was Norman Lamont. Lamont. Norman Lamont. Norman Lamont. I don't know why I've said it like that. I think I thought Norman, and then I went, oh, it sounds like a French name. I know it's not Lament. My screen reader says it is Lament. It's Lamont, isn't it? Norman Lamont. So in my head, I went, oh, Lament. And then I think, because I heard Norman, I thought of France. And so then I went Norman Lamont. Norman Lamont. Norman Lamont, the ex-Tory Chancellor. He spelt it Norman Lament, like as if you're lamenting something. You've never seen his name written down. Is that how you spell it, or is that autocorrect? Norman Lament. Or maybe it's a joke of Ben's, and it's not spelt like that, but he's gone, oh, Norman Lament, I call him. Bit of satire from Ben there. 40-year-old satire, but still. Well done, Ben. Anyway, that's what Ben reckons. But I think it's something that's either apocryphal across the board, or it's something that many speakers have done, because I think it was neither of those on the Radio 4 documentary. I think it was, it may have been David Cameron. So I don't know, maybe it's a Tory thing. I don't know. We'll have to have a look, see if there's any Labour politicians who go on stage with a full bladder. You know, some people say that Keir Starmer's a bit dry, a bit flat, as he tried going on with a full bladder. The trouble is, you don't want him to piss himself, because then he's just going to be so weird Starmer, isn't it? That's the problem. You've got to, with a name like that, you've got to be really careful. Is the reason he's not done it is because Keir Starmer doesn't have very good bladder control? He's always been accused of incompetence, but maybe he's also suffering from incontinence. Oh, you're not the only one who can do satire, Ben. Anyway, I've completely forgotten about me genitals there. Absolutely brilliant. You've completely taken my mind off my genitals, Ben. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, I don't know if I'd started something and then didn't finish it. Please, David, don't say you started adjusting yourself and didn't finish it. And now you've forgotten you've been walking down the park with your hands down your trousers all this time. Oh, I knew there was something. Anyway, this isn't what I was planning on talking about. When I was reading the little podcast plan, like I write a few little ideas of things to talk about, talking about adjusting my genitals was not one, by the way. Just in case there happens to be a friend of J.K. Rowling listening to the podcast, and maybe J.K. is staying with you, and she's just wandered into the room, and she's heard this podcast, just this little section, and she's gone, what are you listening to? Get this off. It's absolutely fine. It's not what you think. It's got nothing to do about transitioning. And J.K.'s like, oh, thank goodness for that. What is it, by the way? Oh, it's absolutely fine. It's just this blind bloke I listen to. He wanders around the park, talks about wanting to readjust his genitals because they're in a bit of a awkward position. Oh, it sounds absolutely brilliant. So one of the things I'd put on the list, it was right at the top of the list, and I just wrote Luke. So you might expect me to talk about Luke. Well, I am talking about Luke, but not in the way that I was presumably intending to talk about Luke, because the thing is, it must have been a few days ago that I put this on the list. I can't remember who Luke is. I have absolutely no idea why I've written the word Luke. Presumably there's someone called Luke. If you know anybody called Luke who you think that I might have been wanting to talk about, then do let me know. Or maybe just in general. If anyone has any Luke news, then do let me know. Because I've absolutely no idea who this Luke was and why I've written Luke at the top of the list. But at some point, I was planning on talking about someone called Luke, presumably. Either that or autocorrect has changed something, and I tried to write something else, and it's changed it to Luke. What could that be? I don't know. Oh, I've remembered. But please do send me in your Luke news, regardless. If you have any news about anyone called Luke, this could be a friend of yours called Luke, or an acquaintance, or just anything Luke-based that you've read, anything loosely Luke-related. I want to hear about it. We'll try and think of a better name for it than Luke News. Luke here, with a little bit of Luke. That's the one. And we could do a variant of the DJ Luck and MC Neat, with a little bit of Luke. Yes, with a little bit of Luke. So if anyone's got any Luke news, I've remembered about Luke, so I suppose I should tell you about Luke at some point. We'll do that tomorrow with Ellie. But right now, goodbye. Turning, bye. Well, it's been a while since we've done a dishwashing episode. I'm sure people will be getting very excited now. My goodness. We thought he'd forgotten. We thought he'd moved on. We know how much he is all about pushing the form and moving ahead and pioneering. I am. You know me. But I'm also about the old ways as well. I'm also about the traditions. And it's traditions that I kind of want to talk about today. I want to talk about traditional folk song. Oh my goodness, just when we thought it couldn't get any more exciting. Dishwashing and a lecture on traditional folk song. My goodness. So I've been doing some bits and pieces in preparation for my various DJ sets at folk festivals coming up this summer. And I've been working on some new bits. And one of the bits I've been working on centres around the song Matty Groves. Now, coincidentally, Olivia mentioned Fairport Convention last week. And I suppose one of the most famous versions of Matty Groves was sung by Sandy Denny from Fairport Convention. And it's that version that I am using in the mix. I mean, Olivia now might be thinking this is where we have a fallout, David. There's certain things you shouldn't meddle with, and Fairport Convention is one. And this might be it. This might be the parting of the ways. My goodness. But hopefully not. But at some point over the summer, I will have remixed Matty Groves into a dance banger for the festival crowds. But it's a fascinating tale. A traditional folk song. Presumably someone did compose it, someone wrote it. But the thing with all of these is they're uncredited. Nobody knows who wrote them. You know, this is before the days of royalties and that kind of thing. And these people, obviously, they're not famous classical composers. You know, these are just songs that were written by people and maybe passed on from person to person. So it's a very different thing to classical compositions. You know, you think like people know who wrote classical compositions because they had to have an entire orchestra to play their piece. So obviously there couldn't be any anonymity there. Whereas with folk songs, you could write something down, you could sing it out, somebody else could go, oh, I like that. They remember it, the whole thing changes slightly. I think that's why some of these songs have very odd wording, because people have not remembered it fully. So the song might have been absolutely perfectly written, but someone can't remember it, and that's why I think there's probably a lot of repetition in these songs. I mean, one reason might be because they almost weren't written down. So when you're telling a story and you're singing this song, you need to make it as simple as possible so that anybody who is wanting to sing the song later, or even that person who's made the song, they need to remember it. And so there's a lot of repetition in folk song, traditional folk song. I mean, one of my favourite examples is the Cherry Tree Carol. But that starts with the line, well, Joseph was an old man, and an old man was he. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about with this repetition. Because you've essentially just said the same thing twice. And I'd also say that if you put an and somewhere, an and suggests there's something different that you're going to say. If you say this and this, you assume that the and, the thing after the and, is going to be different to the first thing you said. But no, Joseph was an old man, and an old man was he. Maybe it was like a call and response type thing. They wanted to make it like a catchphrase. You know, if they would have been born in a different time, they might have been a game show host. You know, like a Bruce Forsyth. Joseph was an old man, and an old man was... And then the audience shout, hey! Maybe that's how it worked. And maybe before he starts the song, he goes, nah. He does a little note, nah. Then he goes, okay, everybody, higher or lower, higher or lower. What's David Attenborough again? Oh. Meanwhile, I don't know what's going on outside. I've just heard some noise from the door. I think one of our neighbours is in their garden, pottering about. And if I can hear them just moving about, they're certainly going to be able to hear me doing Bruce Forsyth impressions. Okay, I think that was someone delivering something to our house. But they haven't knocked on the door, because I've just heard the gate open. That's what the noise was, so I don't think it was one of our neighbours. They've come to the back garden, which is where people often deliver things from. They've opened the gate, and I think what may have happened is they could hear me doing Bruce Forsyth impressions, and maybe they felt a bit intimidated. They thought, I'm not delivering that there, so I think they've just dropped it off at the shed at the back, and then they've left, because I've just heard the gate close again. Unless it was a Jehovah's Witness trying to recruit, and then he heard me doing the Bruce Forsyth impressions and thought, I think we'll stay clear of this one. Unless they knocked on the door and I didn't hear them. Because I was too busy doing my Bruce Forsyth. Maybe they were knocking on the door. You might be, if you're listening back. Oh, but no, you will be, Olivia. On your second listen, see if you can hear a knock at the door. And you go, David, there's someone knocking at the door, and you'll just go, Joseph was an old man. What key would you like this in? We're an F sharp, we can move it down to F, or we can move it up to a G. Higher or lower, higher or lower. Anyway, this Matty Groves song gets off to the same start. A holiday, and the first one of the year. So they all do it. Lord Darnell's wife came into the church, the gospel for to hear. I think there's somebody at the door again. I can hear the gate moving. Maybe there's someone trying to bootleg the podcast. Maybe what's happening here is there's someone just loitering at the door with a microphone, and they're thinking, because I was late getting the podcast out last week, and so maybe Olivia and Ben, they've all been speaking to each other, because they have been communicating with each other. So maybe they've been speaking to each other and they thought, we can't have this. We need the podcast out on a Thursday. So they've employed somebody to just stand at his door. He'll probably do a dishwashing episode. It's been a while since he did one of those. We don't mind about the audio quality. You know, we just want, they've paid for a good quality shotgun mic so that it'll sort of can get through the crack of the door. So the person just poked it through the keyhole and they're recording the whole thing. And also what they might be doing is we know that David edits. There was the dodgy editing going on in the last podcast, and so we heard how much he edits out. I don't want things edited out. We want the full experience. You know, what's he leaving on the cutting room floor? We don't want any of that. We want to hear it. And so that's the other thing. Now they can listen to this in its full, unexpurgated form. And I'm going to be subverted. No one's going to be listening to the podcast. Suddenly I'm going to get this thing saying, actually, David, you can't advertise anymore. I mean, we're not actually taking anyone up on the advertising idea, but they may say your listeners have just completely dropped off. And that's because Olivia and Ben are listening, and they've all joined this private group, and they're just disseminating this bootleg recording. My goodness, what duplicity. Anyway, apparently, Lord Darnell's wife has gone to the church to listen to the gospel. So that's her reason for going to church, apparently. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, to be honest. Immediately, the next line is, and when the meeting it was done. Why is it being described as a meeting? It's a service, isn't it? She went to the church for the gospel. Now all of a sudden it's when the meeting it was done. Unless they had a meeting. I suppose they could have had a meeting after the service. You know, let people have coffee mornings and stuff like that. I mean, at the time that this was written, I'm not entirely sure if people would be drinking coffee, but the coffee isn't really the salient element here. I wish you'd stop being pedantic. Not only are you bootlegging the podcast, but then you're being pedantic. Honestly. So I'm not sure why it's described as a meeting. Maybe they are having a meeting and they discuss important church matters. Someone's like, oh, the pews are a bit uncomfortable. I wonder if we can get some cushions for the pews. I suppose it depends on the denomination. If they were a sort of a more puritanical group, that could be absolute sacrilege. You're not meant to be comfortable. You should be lucky that you're not sitting on a spike. Nathaniel will sit on a spike. I will sit on Nathaniel. 2 spikes would be a luxury. There you go. Where's that from? That's a little game you can play. What's that a quote from? Nathaniel will sit on a spike. I shall sit on Nathaniel. 2 spikes would be a luxury. Feel free to join in with that little competition if you want. You could message me about it, or you could just message your bootlegger. So I don't know if it was a meeting or not. I don't know what it means by that, but I think it was a service. Maybe someone got a bit confused. They thought it was a meeting. And there's just someone there frantically taking the minutes. I'm doing the minutes. Don't you worry about it. This is all documented. And the priest is like, what do you mean? What are you doing that for? Well, you're saying some very important stuff there, Father. You know, I thought someone better write this down. I'm doing the gospel. Yeah, I know you're doing the gospel. And I want to make sure it's documented. This is important. You know what happens to traditional folk songs? If they're not written down, people just forget what they're saying. They'll just repeat themselves. They'll put conjunctions in that suggest that they're going to say something completely different, that there's going to be some kind of rejoinder that suggests an extra, and it doesn't. They just repeat themselves, and they just say things in a slightly different order. I mean, case in point, Joseph was an old man, and an old man was he. The last thing I want is that happening with the gospel. So I'm writing it down. I'm reading it, mate. You sorry? Well, I'm reading it. The gospel's already written down. Oh, bloody hell, I can't really see from where I am here. There's a pillar. I just thought you were making it up. No, I know you said this is the word of the Lord. I just thought it was flowing through you. You mean I've been wasting my time? Feverishly writing everything that you've been saying? You know, I went on a shorthand course. I spent 6 months learning shorthand. So I just thought I could keep up with you, Father. Hang on, let's have a look. I mean, it's quite impressive. You've written the gospel out in shorthand. Unfortunately, you know, none of the parishioners know shorthand. Let's have a look at that book, Father. Bloody hell, that's big. You've just read that gospel, that's 3 pages. I've managed to condense it into 6 lines here. Someone wants to think about this, because eventually someone's going to start that book of yours, Father. Someone's going to want to reprint. What do you mean someone's going to want to reprint? There's loads of versions of it. What? Anyway, I don't know what's happening here. Now, if you're listening to the edited version, you'll know that this bit's only gone on for a couple of minutes. Olivia and Ben, as listening to the bootleg version, they've heard half an hour of this. I think you'll agree, Olivia and Ben, it wasn't worth it. You paid all this money to a bootlegger and you've got half an hour of me having a fictitious conversation between a priest and a dilettante secretary. It wasn't all bad. I mean, Olivia and Ben might have actually really enjoyed it. There were a few unexpected twists and turns. We didn't think that the priest and the secretary would end up having an illicit affair. My goodness. No one saw that coming. You know, and the priest starts chatting up the secretary, going, hey, so short hands, eh? You know what they say about men with short hands? And the secretary... Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, I think that noise there was maybe God deciding, I'm not having this, Dave, this is blasphemous. You've now got the priest flirting with the secretary and making jokes about the size of his appendage. We had enough about appendage talk, thank you very much. So maybe that was God making me drop the ball. And then the secretary says, hey, spend a night with me. It'll take longer than a few minutes. So they're just doing little puns, flirting, using secretarial language. Maybe the priest will use a bit of priest language. Priest language. Do you want me to go farther? Anyway, some people will be like, this is very inappropriate. Again, Olivia and Ben, you know, you're listening to the podcast version. I've only been talking about the secretary and the priest flirting with each other for a minute. You know, and Olivia and Ben have just been treated to half an hour. I mean, I went into some detail, didn't I? Doing the voices, and the sound effects. Maybe a little unnecessary. Anyway, now you might be wondering how I was creating the sound effects. I've got with me this container here, which I was washing. And if I just plunge the sponge in and out... And it's just theatre of the mind. You can just imagine what's going on. Absolutely brilliant. I work with what I've got. Anyway, talking about illicit affairs, that links us back to what I was talking about, the story of Matty Groves. So, Lord Arnold's wife has gone to the church to listen to the gospel, apparently, but I'm not sure whether that's correct, because literally the service finishes, and then it says she cast her eyes about, and there she saw little Matty Groves walking in the crowd. Come home with me, little Matty Groves. Come home with me tonight. Come home with me, little Matty Groves, and sleep with me till light. So I'm not sure if she's gone to the church to listen to the gospel, because, I mean, seconds later, she's propositioning someone and she wants to commit adultery. Surely she had that in the back of her mind. Or did she honestly go to church, feeling all devout, listened to the gospel, and she was really being pious, and it really meant something to her, but then maybe she saw Matty Groves, and then all of a sudden, her sexual appetite was suddenly aroused. That sounds like the most unsexy way of saying it. That's my bedroom talk there. Have I aroused your sexual appetite? I can't imagine what Olivia's thinking right now. You know, she was like, oh, brilliant, he's talking about Fair Court Convention. Fair Court Convention is the smutty tribute band. Randy Denny. Anyway, I do apologise, Olivia. You know, she's got a favourite band there. And maybe even a second favourite band as well, with the young'uns. I'm going to just assume that, Olivia, you don't have to correct me. And she's thinking, this is brilliant. This is the coming together of two things that I really like, and this is what she gets. You know, she's trying to listen to a dissection of Matty Groves. Well, actually, spoiler alert, we'll come to that. Right, let's get back to this song. But it's clear that sex is on this woman's mind. I say that. I'm not talking about you here, Olivia. I'm talking about Lord Arnold's wife. I mean, in fairness, she does say just sleep with me till light, but I think sleeping is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. I think we all know what's going on. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, for God's sake. Ah, you bugger. Actually, that's fine. It's quite melodramatic. I dropped a tub on the floor and I thought I'm going to have to wash it up again, but the tub had the lid on, so there's nothing to wash up. It was absolutely fine. It just landed on the lid. No problems whatsoever. This isn't part of the song, by the way. You're thinking, my goodness, the song has lost its rhyme scheme. Olivia's going, I've not heard this version before, David. And I thought I'd dug deep. I thought I knew their back catalogue, but this thing about tubs falling out of cupboards. Anyway, so he's called Little Matty Groves. I mean, I'm assuming that is because he's young or he's small in stature. But if she gets home, she goes, I don't know why he's called Little Matty Groves, because he's actually quite big. And then she gets him home and realises, oh, I see why he's called Little Matty Groves now. Oh, you bugger. I don't think they dishes are usually this dramatic until I record for a podcast. And then maybe it's because I'm not concentrating fully. Well, you know, this requires deep concentration, my friends, you know, to come out with the kind of stuff that I'm coming out with here. So I'm a bit lapsed with my hands. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so she's propositioning Matty Groves. Oh, I can't come home. I won't come home and sleep with you tonight. By the rings on your fingers, I can tell you are Lord Darnell's wife. What if I am Lord Darnell's wife? Lord Darnell's not at home. Now, this, we discover later on in the song, is enough to persuade Matty Groves to go home with her. But then what happens in the song is the servant happens to overhear, and he says to himself, I've got to let Lord Darnell know. I've got to let him know about this duplicity. And he has a bit of a journey. He has to run. He has to do some swimming. But the servant reaches Lord Darnell and informs him. Now, in the song, I'm not skipping a little bit here, by the way. The next thing it cuts to, Matty Groves, he lay down and took a little sleep. Originally, maybe there were a lot more details, but they've been taken out. You know, you don't get to hear what they've been up to. I'm assuming they haven't just gone home and gone to sleep. When he awoke, Lord Darnell was standing at his feet. So he's been discovered. Oh, just dropped something else. Oh, bloody hell, where's it gone? Oh, I don't know where it's gone. It's fallen. There it is, another bloody tub. So Lord Darnell's in the room now. And he says, now bearing in mind, he's just found his wife in bed with little Matty Groves. So what do you think is the first thing he's going to say? Let's imagine, like, if this is like EastEnders or something, what do you think he'd say? You know, or any kind of film, there's going to be like violence, there's going to be aggression. No, Lord Darnell, this is what Lord Darnell first says. He says, how do you like my feather bed? This is what he says to Matty. How do you like my feather bed? How do you like my sheets? He's travelled all of this way. We know that there's swimming involved. He's run, he's swam, he's ran some more. I don't know if he's still dripping wet from the swimming. You know, he should be angry, he should be flustered. And the first thing he does is to inquire about the comfort. How do you like me feather bed? How do you like me sheets? That's quite an odd thing, I think. How do you like my lady who lies in your arms asleep? So she's still asleep. She's sleeping through this. But I like the fact that it's the third thing on his list. You can't imagine someone saying that angrily. How do you like my feather bed? How do you like my sheets? And how do you like my... It's like, what the bloody hell? You wouldn't say that. You just go, what the bloody hell's going on here? How dare... You know, you'd do that, wouldn't you? Anyway, Matty Groves, bearing in mind he's just been woken up. He has no idea that Lord Darnell knows. As far as he's concerned, he's going to get away with this. And he's just woken up. You'd have thought he'd be quite shocked, wouldn't you? You'd have thought he'd be quite shocked. He'd go, whoa, what the bloody hell, you know. But no, he doesn't react like that either. He answers him in turn. He goes, oh, it's well, I like your feather bed. And well, I like your sheets. Well, stop thing. Why are we focusing on the bed and the sheets? He does it as well. Like, surely he'd go, oh my God, I've been discovered, I've been found out. You know, he got up, he tried to defend himself, something. But seemingly he's very calm, because you can't say, it's well, I like your feather bed, and well, I like your sheets, but better I like your lady gay, who lies in my arms asleep. You can only say that calmly, can't you? You can't say that if you're shocked. Lord Darnell walks in and goes, how do you like my feather bed? How do you like my sheets? How do you like my lady who lies in your arms asleep? Oh God, it's well I like your feather bed. It's well I like your sheets. Better I like your lady gay who lies in my arms asleep. You can't say that shocked. It just doesn't work. It sounds like you're mocking him. Well, as well, I like your feather bed. That's clearly been mocked, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that he's mocking him, as we're about to find out why. And Matty Groves knows this, by the way. He's got two swords. Lord Darnell is standing there with two swords in his hand. Matty Groves can see this. Get up, Lord Darnell cried. Also, he's crying. We know that he's got rage. Get up as quick as you can. I'm sorry, as quick as you can. Surely you'd just say, get up now. Get up. You wouldn't say, get up as quick as you can. What a strange turn of phrase. Just doesn't sound right, does it? If you're angry, you wouldn't say to somebody, get up as quick as you can. As quick as you can. Just doesn't work in an angry voice. So, I'm trying to work out how he's saying this. Get up But then presumably he goes, as quick as you can. You just say, get up right away, get up now. You wouldn't say get up as quick as you can. As quick as you can is quite polite. That's what I find really odd about Lord Darnell. His wife is cheating on him. And he bursts through the door, and firstly, he can't help himself. He's playing host. How do you like me feather bed? How do you like me sheets? He's got that level of etiquette and politeness about him. Okay, get up. Get up, Lord Darnell cried. Get up as quick as you can. It'll never be said in fair England, I slew a naked man. Okay, so killing is on the cards. So he's gone from polite inquiry about the comfort of the bed and the sheets. Get up as quick as you can. That sounds quite polite, but I'm going to kill you. He says, I can't get up. I won't get up. I can't get up for my life. Because you've got 2 swords and I've not a pocket knife. So he's unarmed. He's naked. He's unarmed. 'Tis true I have 2 beaten swords, and they cost me deep in the purse. Again, needless detail. If you're angry, don't say, I tell you what, it cost me an absolute fortune. Let me tell you, my friend. I find the details a bit weird, and it cost me deep in the purse. But then he says, but you will have the better of them, and I will have the worse. What the bloody hell's happening now? He's bought himself 2 swords. I don't know why he's got 2 swords. Why does he need 2 swords? But he's bought himself 2 swords, and both of them have clearly set him back financially. And then, for some strange reason, he says to Matty, I'll give you the better one, my friend. Can't say fairer than that. Why? Again, it's this weird politeness that he's got going on. There's a level of chivalry about him, Lord Darnell, which I don't quite understand. And then, just in case that wasn't a good enough deal for Matty, he says, and you will strike the very first blow, and strike it like a man. Why? So not only is Lord Darnell prepared to give Matty Groves his best sword, but he's also prepared to let Matty just take a shot at him. I will strike the very next blow, and I'll kill you if I can. I think Lord Darnell's got, bipolar or something. Yeah, I'd imagine him running and swimming. His wife has cheated on him. He's absolutely livid. But when he gets to the door, he's in a better mood. So he suddenly says, how do you like me feather bed? How do you like me sheets? And then he goes, get up. Suddenly, he changes again. He goes, as quick as you can. And then he's prepared to let Matty have his best sword. And he's prepared to let Matty strike the very first blow. And then he goes, I'll kill you if I can. There's something going on with Lord Darnell. So this is good for Matty. He accepts this as a deal. Matty struck the very first blow. Right, let me just move back a bit here. Matty was clearly fearing for his life, but there was nothing for Matty to fear. I refer you back to what Lord Darnell said earlier. Get up as quick as you can. It'll never be said in fair England, I slew a naked man. Matty Groves is naked. There is no way, for some reason, Lord Darnell has some principle, he has some rule, he's got all these odd ideas in his head, I don't know what's going on with him, but he will not kill someone if they are naked. So why doesn't Matty Groves just stay in bed, stay naked? What he could have done is he could have got out of bed, he could have calmly walked out of the door, and as long as he just walked out the door with no clothes on, presumably he would have got out alive. I suppose the problem is the next time Lord Darnell sees him with clothes on, so he'd have to leave the village. But he's got time to think. But keep your clothes off, Matty. That's surely the most sensible thing here. You could have got out of this absolutely fine. I suppose in fairness you could argue he said he wouldn't kill a naked man. He didn't say he wouldn't severely injure a naked man. So maybe that's what Matty's thinking. But presumably though, what I'm fascinated about here is, again, it misses out quite a bit of the story. Because at this point, presumably Matty Groves gets up and he has to put some clothes on. Because Lord Darnell's going to try and kill him. Well, he won't try and kill him if he's not. That would have been the perfect thing. Because Lord Darnell has a rule where he won't kill somebody if they're naked. So if Matty had taken Lord Darnell's sword and then just struck him, Lord Darnell's like, bloody hell, you've wounded me. And he's like, yeah, you strike the very next blow. And he's like, well, I will. But then the trouble is, Lord Darnell's now trying to calculate. I've got to strike him. I don't mind wounding him, but I need to make sure it's not fatal. Oh my goodness, I've got myself in a right quandary here. This is ridiculous. He can't force him to put clothes on, can he? Lord Darnell's going to have to dress him. I like the idea that Lord Darnell's just got a hold of him and he's sticking his boxer shorts back on. And how dressed does he need to be? How dressed does Lord Darnell have to? Matty Groves is wriggling about, trying to stop him, moving his legs this way and that, so he can't get the clothes on. Lord Darnell's like, you stay still, Matty Groves. I'm trying to get your bloody trousers on your legs here, you're bloody inside out. How many clothes have to be on before it's acceptable? But presumably, Matty Groves has to get up and he has to put his clothes on. That's not explained in the song. And I'm wondering what happens in that moment. Because that's going to take, let's say, at least It's going to take at least half a minute. Would they be talking to each other? Maybe they'd be talking about their clothes. Oh, that's a nice shirt there, my friend. Oh, yeah, cost me deep in the purse. Maybe you're thinking I'm dwelling too much on this, but I'm absolutely fascinated by that point. The moment that he gets out of bed and he starts putting on his clothes, what's Lord Darnell doing in that moment? What is he doing in that moment? Are they talking to each other? Are they just kind of like huffing angrily at each other, growling at each other? You know, are they just making small talk? So, I'm sorry about this, Lord Darnell. I threw me clothes all over the place, you know, and bloody hell, I've no idea where my sock's gone. Hang on a minute, mate, I'll have a look for you. I've got under the bed. This always happens with me as well, to be honest. You know, take my socks off, and you think, I'm sure I'll just put it down there, but the next thing you know, it's gone. I can always find one. The two tend to get lost, don't they, the socks? It's amazing how many odd socks I've got. Oh, tell me about it, Lord. It's nice to know that, you know, and the scullery maids, they do their best. You know, I've obviously got serving staff, but even they struggle sometimes to pair up all my socks. Well, that's reassuring to hear, because, you know, it's always happening with me, but I assumed that you, with your serving staff, you know, you would have more of a handle on your socks. No, I think it's a universal truth that socks will just disappear. And also, is Lord Darnell's wife still asleep? Matty struck the very first blow and hurt Lord Darnell sore. Darnell struck the very next blow, and Matty struck no more. He's dead. He's gone. Then Lord Darnell took his own dear wife. I don't think you can call her a dear wife at this point, can you? And then he says, who do you like the best of us? Matty Groves or me? Now, I'm not entirely sure what would have happened at this point. If Lord Darnell's wife had said, well, you, of course. If he'd have gone, oh, well, that's all right then. You know, would that have been fine for Lord Darnell? You just don't know. I wonder if she's got a grasp on him. But then Lord Darnell's wife, never heard to speak so free. I'd rather a kiss from dead Matty's lips than you and your finery. Anyway, the next thing that happens, Lord Darnell kills his wife. If you rewind this back, 2 minutes ago, Lord Darnell was asking Matty Groves how he found the bed, if he found the bed comfortable enough. 2 minutes later, Matty Groves is dead, his own wife is dead. So at this point, Lord Darnell, complete anger, absolute rage, presumably. But even then, he allows himself another weird moment of chivalry, another weird moment of kind of odd etiquette and politeness. Another moment where he slightly, I don't know, his mindset shifts again. He says, a grave, Lord Darnell cried, to put these lovers in. But bury my lady at the top. I like the fact he's still calling her my lady, despite everything. Bury my lady at the top, for she was of noble kin. What a strange caveat. You've killed her. But you're like, yeah, but, you know, there's got to be rules. I think that's why he's very rule-bound. He's got these odd principles about him. And that's how the song ends. There's so many unanswered questions. What happens next? And when I say next, I mean literally next. What does Lord Darnell do next? What is the next thing he does? Like, I mean the immediate next thing. Because he's just killed two people. Does he just have a drink? Does he have something to eat? Does he go to sleep? Does he go back out and do what he was doing before he was interrupted? Does he have any moment where he thought, what the hell have I done? Does he go to bed? Does he just go, oh, well, the bed's free now, and I've got a free pair of clothes? Absolutely brilliant. But anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. Oh, a little tease there. You've just heard the word Luke. Yes, my friends, from Matty, we move to Luke, because we're going to finally reveal what this Luke thing was all about. So it feels like not something that I would ordinarily do this, Ellie. It feels like maybe sort of jumping on the bandwagon of a zeitgeist.
Yes, and that's not really us.
No.
We're not really up with the times.
No, more The Guardian, I think it's safe to say. But this has got a little Hartlepool theme to it. So we are going to talk about this. We're going to head to the world of TikTok.
Yeah.
Ellie has made a little bit of a discovery. I think this has kind of gone a little bit viral. I don't know what constitutes viral these days. Do you want to sort of explain the situation, Ellie? What's going on?
So there's a lady called Leanne who is originally from London. She's got 3 kids. She got moved by the council up to Hartlepool.
Interesting move.
Yeah, well, when the council hasn't got enough houses for families and stuff...
So they just shove them in Hartlepool?
Yeah, pretty much. yeah, they move people out to different places, and sometimes they've got no, like, social connection to there, and they've got no support system. Part of the reason she hasn't got a big support system is because her children's father has been missing in action for 7 years. Now, this is not because he's in the army. She left him, and he has had nothing to do with his kids. And this year she's decided she's sick of being a single parent. She wants to have a hot girl summer with her girlfriend. She wants him to look after the kids. and to pull his weight a little bit. So she started posting on TikTok.
It's not a phrase I'm aware of, hot girl summer.
No, I think the listeners might be aware of
think?
it. Yeah. Yeah. You're not really...
Hot girl summer.
But yeah, so hot girl summer is just like having the time to yourself, being free, perhaps being a little bit free with your love.
Okay.
That's not how I want to put it. I just can't think of words.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
well, she's gone to the right place. She's in Hartlepool.
Well,
So, I mean,
exactly.
my goodness.
She is sick of being a single parent.
She could have a heart girl summer.
She wants to hold...
She wants to hold, indeed.
She wants to hold the father of her children accountable because he made those babies too, so he should be involved in looking after them. So she started posting on TikTok and she's now got 57,000 followers.
So this is all on the basis of these videos that she's posting, calling out her children's father.
Yeah.
And this has garnered her 57,000 followers.
Yeah, so her top TikToks, 578,000. One's got 1.6 million and one's got 1.1 million views. What has captured people's imagination and got them sort of jumping on this bandwagon and doing reply videos where they're looking for him is the fact that she says his full name every time she does a video.
Yes, I think if she'd have just said, I'm looking for Luke, it wouldn't have been. But he's got a very interesting, I got a triple-barreled name, I think, almost.
Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. For those that don't know, Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba has 3 children by me, 110, 27. Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba has been missing for 7+ years. Yesterday, Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba was given 24 hours to appear in my DMs. Otherwise, I'm putting his picture up on the internet. And boy, has it been a rough 24 hours. In those 24 hours, I have had one man come forward claiming to be Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. Some people think I'm crazy for still looking for you, but all I really want is to skin out my pum-pum for a couple of days.
Skin out my pum-pum?
I don't know what it
No
means.
choice. Unfortunately,
She's
this
put
is
his
the
picture
only
up.
image I have of Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. I deleted him so hard out of all my hard drives. This is the only evidence and the only picture I have. I know the picture looks like it was taken in 1965, but I'm going to need your help now. We must find Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba.
So she keeps doing this, and I think it's just the name, the catchiness of the Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba.
Well, also, she's pronouncing his name wrong.
All right.
So it's meant to be...
How do you know what it's meant to be?
Well, because she's corrected it and she did another one going, Luke, you need to come forward and tell us how to pronounce your name.
Luke
Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. Luke Tawanda Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. You need to come to the front and tell us how to pronounce your names. You've got the internet all in a tizzy about your name. And quite frankly, I can't do anything about it but say Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. There are men out here dying for your response. They want to know what happened to make you leave. They want your side, Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba. Finding it hard to believe that you just disappeared for 7+ years for no reason. Now the streets are talking Luke Tawanda Philip Manhumba and they're saying that you've got 6 kids now. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It is very important that you come to the front now, along with all of your baby mothers in tow. You need to have a mother's meeting immediately. Also,
By the way, this is not my editing.
No, this is
her
hers.
editing.
as if money is enough.
She's on the main streets of Hartlepool.
Me and the rest of your baby mothers and all your children. Luke, Tawanda, Philemon Humber, you need to come to the front.
So it's Luke Tawanda Philemon Humber. But she keeps
Well,
saying...
it's not filmed on the Humber, it's in Hartlepool.
She keeps saying Philip Manhumber. So
It is crazy that she's had 3 children with this man and she doesn't know how to pronounce his name. It does sound like a magic spell.
Yes.
All right, come on, kids. Here we go. Well, where's the magic wands? And you say the magic words. Here we go. Luke Tawanda. Philemon. Don't make sure you don't get it wrong now, kids. Otherwise, you'll turn into rats. Here we go. Luke Tawanda Philemon Humber. Just a little bit of Hartlepool news for you there.
Yeah.
But I think at the time of recording, has Luke Tawanda Philemon Humber been found?
Not that I have seen, but I think we will report back if he ever shows up.
Because she wants to skin out a Pumpum.
I really don't know what
Whatever
that
that
means.
means.
I mean, I've got some terrible ideas, but
It
I
does
don't
sound
wanna...
a little sexual. Olivia, any ideas what skin out my Pumpum means? Do
Ben?
feel free. Well, anyone listening. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't just thinking that you would know, Olivia. That sounds like the kind of thing Olivia would know. I just thought she's just my go-to.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will be going to her very soon, but right now we must move on. Actually, one little quick thing, Ellie, before we move on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've talked about this little bit, but you know that I've mentioned a few times about people who try to do little funny things, like app developers.
Oh,
They'll try and do little funny things. Have you seen the Monzo one?
No.
Okay, so
What's
there's
it
the one
doing?
from the Monzo Bank. I don't think I've talked about this, because I have seen it a few times. Because there's the other thing as well, they come around time and time again. The one on the Monzo Bank says, for their app update, it says, fix some bugs. It says, nothing major to report this week. Just fix some bugs and made general improvements. If there is ever anything interesting or important of note, we'll shout about it. And then it says, not literally, apps can't shout.
Oh, God. Fuck off. No, thank you.
Apps can't shout.
No.
And you can hear it in that voice,
No.
not literally. Apps can't shout. Even though there is no punctuation mark that reflects...
You know that's...
You know that's
it's
what
doing
it
a
is.
little smug
No,
chuckle.
not literally. Well, there's socials, it's that kind of voice. But the thing about it is it doesn't really make sense because it's now suggesting that the app is talking to you. Like, the app is a sentient thing.
Yeah.
It's going, we have fixed some bugs. So the app is referring to itself as a we. Firstly, why
God.
would it be referring to himself as a third person?
That's a good
is
question.
Is it third person, would you say?
Yes.
For that? I was getting persons mixed up, as in
I
first person,
never
second
really
person,
got
third
all
person.
of that. I think it would be Monzo has fixed if Monzo was a person.
So a
Kept
second, because it's not a we, I, or a we. So it's that's not true. I've got that completely wrong there. They're referring to themselves in the plural.
Yes.
I remember at a gig once, I mentioned a double superlative. I'd said something about a double superlative.
Yeah.
And then I'd given an example, and a woman, well, I think she was quite a timid woman, because you could just tell she had a bit of a shaky voice. And I think she had originally put her hand up. But then obviously that's pointless for me.
Work
So someone drew it. Someone's got a hand up. So she says, I'm really sorry. I'm quite nervous. I don't really want to say anything, but it's, I'm an English teacher. I feel I have to. It's not a double superlative. It is a double. That was a double comparative that you did. And then she was like, I didn't want to say that. And she sort of like vanished. It like shrunk back into the seat. I just like the fact that obviously her pedantry outweighed her rampant timidity, if timidity can be rampant. That might be. I'm sorry, rampant timidity. That's a bit of an oxymoron there. Oh, a little song there from Ellie. As I start recording, she's not even aware that I am recording because she's in the kitchen. Were you singing anything in particular there, Ellie? It sounds a bit like do come on and do the conga. I think that's a do. Do come on and do the conga. Yeah, because it's do come on and do the conga. Also a do a da the police.
Yeah, da.
No, it's not do. It's dee na, isn't it? Dee na. That is, of course. No, I was trying to make a joke about. I've done that before. You should know by now. I was trying to make a joke about it being like a Geordie. It sounds Geordie, doesn't it? Dee na. A dee na. Oh, I was just moving again, and then Ellie said something else. What?
Hello to any Geordie listeners. Are going in the pan.
Is this just the Geordie listeners, is it?
Yeah. That did sound like it was some sort of code for spies, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And to our Geordie listeners, the onions are going in the pan. I repeat, the onions are going in the pan. Anyway, so let's...
Do you want a little swig of cider?
What?
Well, the cider's going in the pan in a minute.
Well, I could have a swig of cider to see how it affects the walk, listeners.
Thank you.
Oh, right. I love you, Ellie. And you, Olivia, and Ben, and Steve, and even you, Claire. I love you too. Anyway. Bye. Goodbye, Ellie. But of course you're coming with me. Well, you don't have to. You can switch off. You've got... Well, what am I saying? Of course you can't switch off. You're hooked you're mine. Sounds like I was saying that to Ellie. If any of the neighbours there happened to hear me, just sounded like I was saying, remember, as I left, you're mine. Do you just remember that? And people think, my goodness, the way that he talks to her. It's time to play a little clip from a stand-up gig from a few years back now. I arrived at the gig and I thought that I was doing just a 20-minute set, as usual, but they'd messed something up. And it turned out that they assumed, I don't know why, but they assumed that I was comparing the gig. When I looked at the email, I was clearly down as not comparing the gig, but they'd made a mistake. And it turns out that everybody else had to get trains, so I just thought, I'm going to have to compare it, which I'm a bit fearful about comparing. Well, firstly, I don't know what's going on in the audience. Like, one of the things of comparing is that you have to kind of talk to people and you have to know what's happening in the audience. And if people are kind of doing something weirdly or they're causing a bit of a disturbance, it's your job to kind of deal with that, hopefully in a way that kind of rectifies the situation in a comic way. Or just kind of knowing who to speak to, like being able to make eye contact with someone and go, that person looks like they might be up for having a bit of a chat. That person looks like they would rather not. So it's just things like that. And just also being able to just kind of see something like happening in the room and go, that's interesting, and making a point. Because, you could kind of look around the room and see what individuals are doing, or if people are in groups, for instance, that's often a good thing. Say, there's a big group there. What are you all celebrating? You're celebrating something. Stuff like that I can't do. But I was slightly less nervous than I think I ordinarily would have been. If it had been a really big comedy club, like Comedy Store or Glee or something like that, and I suddenly had to compare it, I probably would be a lot more fearful, but I'm assuming he wasn't talking to me there when he said, how can you miss that? I can miss a lot, my friend. It's an occupational hazard. Part of the course when you can't see. I think he was chatting to somebody else. Anyway, this was in a lovely pub, and it was a disability show, so it was all disabled comedians and a lot of disabled audience members as well. So I thought, this isn't going to be, like drunken stags on a Saturday night shouting at me. And sure enough, there were a lovely bunch of people, and I didn't actually speak to any of them really. One reason was because I just was having a good time talking myself. Another reason for not speaking to people was because I thought, knowing my luck, I know there's a lot of different disabilities in the audience. There's people with different disabilities. And I thought, it'll just be my luck to pick someone who can't speak. Or can't speak very easily. And then I'll try and move on. And then I'll pick somebody else who can't speak. And it's just like, someone's got like a really severe stutter. Someone else has got a really severe speech impediment. Someone else has to speak with a voice box. One of those Stephen Hawking style things. And we all have to wait for absolutely ages. The other reason for it, though, was because we had someone signing the gig. So I was on stage with someone signing, which I was quite entertained by. And I kind of wanted to chat about that and do some things with that a little bit. So it was a really fun gig. I'm going to play you some clips from that. I will tell you very quickly the other time that I compared a gig, and it was because I was chatting to the wonderful deaf comedian Steve Day, who runs a disability show at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival featuring disabled comedians. And I was chatting to him at one of these shows, and he did a lot of work with Chris McCausland. He used to go on tour with Chris McCausland, the more successful blind comedian. I know Olivia and Ben and people will be going, he's not more successful than the slightest, David. He doesn't have a podcast. No, you're quite right. He did a lot of work with him, so I was chatting to him about that, and I was saying, I wonder if Chris ever did any comparing, do you know? Because I imagine it must be quite difficult if you can't see to do comparing, and Steve said, I've never seen Chris do any comparing for that reason. So I was saying to Steve, I've never compared a gig either, because I just can't imagine it working. And then Steve said, why don't you compare my gig tomorrow? And we'll find out. But again, that was quite nice. I have compared 2 gigs, both with disability shows. In that show, the headliner was Lost Voice Guy. Just in case you don't know who Lost Voice Guy is, he's quite well known. He's won Britain's Got Talent a few years ago. Obviously, as the name suggests, it's a comedian that cannot speak, and so he has to type everything out in advance, and it's read in a kind of voice. So I was introducing Lost Voice Guy onto the stage. Well, the first mistake that I made is, to make it easier, what I was doing was I was passing the microphone to everybody who came up. The comedian would come up, I'd pass them the microphone, and then I'd walk off and sit in my seat. And I'd sort of got into a routine of doing that. And then, of course, there was absolutely no point in me doing that for the Lost Voice Guy. He doesn't use the microphone. His speech thing is plugged into the system. It kind of maybe seemed like a bit of a heckle. Please welcome Lost Voice Guy. He comes to the stage and I hand him the microphone and then realise, and I don't think he can really use his hands either. So he didn't grip the microphone. I was just sort of waving this microphone going, and obviously I couldn't really see where he was as such. So I was like, well, you're not going to take the microphone? I was waving this microphone in his face, going, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. And then I realised, the audience are a bit unsure. I mean, the thing is as well, because there's a lot of disabled comedians and there's disabled audience members as well. There's that kind of gallows humour. I think there are some people who'll be like, oh, this is a bit, we can't laugh at this. But obviously when you've got a bunch of disabled people, they're not bothered. It's like, it's absolutely part of the course that they probably thought it was deliberate and thought it was absolutely hilarious. So I just realised after a while that he wouldn't need the microphone. Well, bloody hell, of course, you won't be needing this, will you? Unless you've changed your act significantly. Now, the problem is he can't speak. What I mean is he can't riff. He can't improvise around this because he's got his pre-prepared stuff. He can't suddenly he can type a response in to his machine, but it's going to take quite a while. And then the next thing that happens is even if he had have typed a response in, that would have completely been rode roughshod over by the next thing that happens. Because he'd have been preparing his little line for the microphone debacle, and then the next thing that happens would have just been about to press the button. And then the next thing that happened would have been absolutely pointless. Whatever he was about to have said, absolutely pointless. Because he would have needed to have responded to the next thing that was going to happen. Which was, I didn't realise, I think he'd walked to the front, but he's normally in a wheelchair. And what had obviously happened was he had put his wheelchair right at the front so that he could get out onto the stage really quickly. But I hadn't realised this. My chair was also at the front. Somebody had moved my chair, or maybe they hadn't moved it, maybe they just moved it slightly aside, or maybe I just slightly misremembered and I just headed for the biggest object, which I assumed was my chair. But it wasn't my chair, it was his wheelchair. So after waving a microphone in his face and then going, oh, I suppose you won't be needing this, will you? I then proceeded to sit in his wheelchair. So the audience think this is absolutely hilarious. I then proceed to try and get out of the wheelchair because I realised, oh, bloody hell, what else? I'm trying to get out of the wheelchair, but then I knock two buttons. One which seems to make a beeping sound. I'm not entirely sure what it does. I think it might be if you're reversing. Fortunately, I wasn't reversing. Or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was connected. Maybe I didn't knock two buttons. Because the other button that I thought I'd knocked, so maybe it was just one button and the two things happen. Maybe it just does a beeping sound because of what was happening next. Because I pressed the button that elevates you up. So his wheelchair at the moment was down at the lowest setting, but there's a thing that kind of tilts you up and like rises you upwards. And I started moving upwards. Anyway, I went up quite high actually. I was quite surprised at how high this thing went. And I don't know how to stop it. I didn't know what I'd pressed. So all of a sudden I'm rising into the air. Somebody's leaning across and now it's trying to work out which button might be the one to get the thing down. Meanwhile, Lost Voice Guy has not said a word. In fairness to him, he's not said a word. I mean, he's not typed a word. He's not pressed his button yet to start. I think some people thought we'd manufactured this because it was brilliantly slapstick. And I think some people thought, have you choreographed this? Anyway, so I managed to work out how to go down. The audience are pissing themselves laughing. So I get out of the wheelchair once I'm safely lowered to the ground. And I find my chair and I sit down and the audience calm down. I don't know how long it takes if he wanted to kind of improvise a response. I don't know how easy that would be for him. But he either can't do it or he chose not to do it. So apparently what he was doing, he was responding. He was just pulling funny faces and just kind of like responding in the situation. So he was clearly laughing and he was very much enjoying the ridiculousness of this situation. And so the audience was sort of responding to this as well. The ridiculousness that he can't actually verbally respond to the absolute chaos that's going on. That this blind man has just like waved a microphone in his face and said, oh, you won't be needing this. And then gone in his wheelchair and started rising up. But then the shock that must have registered on my face as well. When all of a sudden the chair, not only was I not sitting in my seat, but then the thing started to beep and indeed rise. Anyway, so he just died down and he just went, hello, I am Lost Voice, and just started his set. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with this gig. That's a different gig. But I think I've given you all the information that you need regarding this gig as we head to Mansfield for this disability comedy show, which I was surprised to find myself comparing, although not really comparing because I wasn't talking to anybody, complete with sign language person. There we go. Hang on. Where are we at? There we are. There we go. Thank you. There we are. Thank you. This is...
I'll get a microphone.
Oh, thank you. This is quite a dramatic start. There we are. That's... not yet. This is... I mean, this entire thing is a practical joke, isn't it? That's right. We'll get the blind man here and we'll confiscate his microphone. There we go. And just to really disorientate him, we'll play some random piano music as well. Excellent.
because we know he relies on echolocation to get around. There's me going, and I can't hear because you bastards have put the thing on. Unbelievable. Or to paraphrase, it's lovely to be here. Good evening. Am I facing the right way?
I want to move that way, David, because I don't want to elbow you.
Oh, brilliant. I think this is it Steph? This is our sign language interpreter, by the way, just in case you're wondering what's going on. If you think, why is there a woman waving her hands around? Steph is very modest, but she is one of the world's greatest sign language interpreters in the world. She'd be far too modest to tell you, of course. I think she's got to sign everything that I say. If I hesitate or stutter, do you have to say everything that I do with my stuttering?
Yes.
You have to do that. Excellent. Well, that's going to be interesting. What if I speak French? Oh, that's going to be interesting. No, dans ma chambre il y a un lit. Sorry, that's not flirting, by the way. I don't want to be done for sexual harassment in the workplace. Certainly not this early on in the gig. I should make... I mean, that's a weird thing, isn't it? When you study French, you get taught one of the first phrases is dans ma chambre il y a un lit, which means in my bedroom there is a bed. Well, of course there is. I mean, but just state it. Why would you ever need to know that? Unless it's a very awkward chat-up line. Does that work? Bonjour, ça va? Ça va bien, merci. In my bedroom there is a bed. We'll say no more. Sorry, Steph, this isn't probably the best start for you. I'm giving you all sorts of stuff to do. I'm assuming that the majority of you are disabled, but we can find out. Give me a cheer if you're disabled. Yay! Hey, they sound quite happy about it, really, don't they? Just a lot of people very quick to cheer there because they're not sure if I am a comedian or just a member of the benefits office. Some people not so quick. I didn't hear you cheering down there. Yeah, I'm afraid you've lost your personal independence payments. It's RIP PIP for you, my friend. There's a joke for fans of simultaneous equations there. We've got three wonderful comedians for you and two shit ones in the middle, but don't worry about that. I'll get through it. I think I do know where the edge of the stage is, by the way. I'm just in case our friend down there is worrying that I'm going to fall on anyone. I mean, I'm sorry if that disappoints you, if you've not been enjoying the comedy, and I think the only thing I was looking forward to was the bastard falling. Sorry about that. But, yeah, so, that was good to sign. Did you bother signing that? But, yes, so, something about a worm. What? Anyway. Oh, by the way, I should, we've established who is disabled, but give me a cheer if you're not disabled. All right, don't sound too happy about it. Unbelievable. Sounds like you're gloating there, you insensitive bastards. Unbelievable. A few more drinks at the bar and you soon will be disabled. Don't you worry about that. We've asked them to make it extra strong for the able-bodied tonight. As a leveller. Exactly. Anyway, are we ready, Steph?
I think so.
Just for you, this one. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you know it's so precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Sorry, Steph. Oh, I should say, by the way, Steph has said, because I was chatting to it, Steph is very funny. I think she's funnier than me. And so if my jokes aren't working, feel free, by the way, Steph, just to sign some better jokes for the deaf. You know, if there's people kind of going, why are the deaf people enjoying the gig a lot more? That's to get to the other side. Very good, Steph. Very good. So I'm going to introduce our first act, and then I will get off the stage, and then by the time I've done that, Richard, you're only going to be able to do a minute because that's going to totally take me 10 minutes to get off the stage here. Now I've crossed into the microphone. Excellent. For fans of slapstick, anyway. There we go. Oh, okay, who would have thought the blind person would be doing the most visual comedy that there is here? A lot of physical theatre going on. Anyway, so they've put another obstacle in place for me now. They've put a chair there for me to trip over. Thank you very much. Excellent. I really like the idea of someone like walking in here not realising there's a comedy night on, opening the door, just have a little quiet drink in here and hear me, see me standing on stage going, and he seems to be blind as well, and there's some woman stood next to him taking the piss out of him, just waving her hands in his face. We should... we swap sides.
We have.
Keep it interesting. Hey? Spice it up.
Hang on,
I
let's go
threw
back.
you with the microphone.
Yeah,
No,
let's go
it's not ventriloquism act.
Well, strange things are afoot. Ellie has been plotting behind my back.
Yes, I have.
I had absolutely no idea that this was going on, but Ellie has decided to set up a Facebook group for podcast listeners.
And you're not
I don't-
invited.
I don't know if it's like a support network. Anyone needs a bit of counselling afterwards. If anyone's been affected by any of the things that they've heard. Yes, so how's it going at the moment? I think the last count we had 6 people, did
We've
we?
got 7 now.
We've got 7 people
Yeah.
who have joined the private... It's a private group as well.
It is. It's called Listeners of the David Eagle Podcast.
And there's 7 people. And I think one of them includes you, Ellie.
Yeah, one of them's me because I'm the admin.
Okay, so there's 6
and I do
listeners
listen to it.
who have
But it's got
signed up.
I've made a special header photo that says David Eagle Podcast Listeners Group. It's Tosh time.
Oh, so that's back on the agenda.
That's
We
back
sort of
in there.
retired it. So maybe
And-
we do need to go back in
and
with its Tosh time.
The first person who joined was Helen.
Helen, who
Who
is the
coined-
founder of It's Tosh Time.
Yeah.
Also, Helen, as I've mentioned before, the wife of the person who often drives me to the gigs that I do, the comedy gigs that I do, John. I didn't realise something until I was chatting to you, which I now and again do.
Only occasionally if we really have to.
You were chatting to John about something. You saw him out in the park.
Oh yeah, I was headed off to go to a Kellam Island Jazz Festival event and I bumped into him. We were having a quick chat because he'd just done a load of gigs with him driving you. He was telling me about the one where he was locked out.
Yes, I've been doing these village hall gigs in Cumbria and Northumberland. And I'm still got a run of gigs coming up. I've got 3 gigs left in May. So get to davideagle.co.uk/gigs and have a little peruse.
We will never have sex again if you keep doing that voice. I can promise you. So
So I was doing these village hall gigs, and one of them, he just popped out. So he popped out to get some food, and then when he came back, I didn't realise this, and I would have turned my phone off as well because I was doing the gig. He got locked out, essentially.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't get in, so he was just there for 90 minutes. I mean, he's got the car, obviously, because he's driving me. But you said, oh, well, at least he wasn't alone. At least he had the dog for company. And I said, oh, there was a dog there, was there? I thought he must have told you some story about like a local dog
that was tied
keeping
up
him company.
outside or... No. But it was his dog.
And it turns out that frequently, often, without me even realising it, on this journey, and indeed on many other journeys, John has had a dog in the car with him because he drives a taxi cab.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back of the cab, and apparently there's been a dog with him, a little dog in the front of the car, and I've had absolutely no idea. Now, bearing in mind, some of these journeys are like 2.5, 3 hours, essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's the bits in between when we're chatting, and there's been a dog around all the
you
time,
haven't
and I've had
noticed?
absolutely no idea that there's been a dog. He's a very quiet dog, because there's not been a situation where I have gone, oh, there's something in the car. I've not even thought, oh, what's that noise? I've not thought, oh, what's that smell? I just assumed it was John.
Did you know? Did you notice it when we bumped into John and Helen out in the street? Would you like to know what's going on
So
in the
what's
group?
going on in the Facebook group then? So who have we got? I think Ben is missing in action.
Ben is not there yet, and I haven't been able to invite him because he's not a Facebook
This is the
friend.
problem. But if you would like to join Ben, if you would like to speak to like-minded people,
directly rather than through us.
If you're listening to this now, chances are you could be listener 8.
There's Steve.
Of course.
/ Scuba Steve. So we also have...
We've got Olivia, of course.
Olivia. We have Georgia.
Of course, Olivia's sister.
So far silent, but
So who's
present.
that? Oh, right, I thought it was someone's name. So far silent. Just some lurker.
There's Fiona.
From Egypt.
And there's
Fiona. Is that
Kit.
because we used to have a Fiona all the time. She came on one of our Christmas episodes where she had to guess the Christmas songs that I made based on your laughs.
Yes. The first comment that wasn't one that was created by me setting up the group was Steve.
Ah, Steve. Who'd have thought it? Olivia would have been furious, I'm
Well,
sure.
the comment was, where's Olivia?
Oh.
So-
She wasn't even here at this point.
No, she'd not joined yet. He's also said, where are Sean and Michael? So
Oh, we don't want them.
We don't need them in the group.
Get enough of those.
And then Olivia's put, I'm okay, I'm here. Orders restored. To which Steve's replied, thank goodness, phew.
So you don't actually need... I like the fact that we're reading out all the messages, but we're not going to continue to do this all the way through. If you want to know what's going on, you've got to...
And it is a private podcast group.
Even though we're reading them out right now.
I'm just going to let you in. Like, I'm not going to stop anyone from joining, but I just thought rather than it being a public...
You did set up a little thing, though.
Yes.
A little test.
You have
to avoid spam.
You have
to
to
avoid a
answer
spammer time situation.
Yeah,
so what have you done there as a little test?
You have to say what's your favourite bit of the podcast. And
Wonderful.
I believe it was Steve's that said, when Ellie laughs. That's not even my laugh.
I'm not sure if you'd have enjoyed that laugh.
No.
I like that, the favourite bit of all the bloody effort that I put in, Steve.
Things that you do.
And it's just listening to Ellie laugh. We could just...
all of the music tracks that you spend hours putting together. Olivia says, it's Sunday morning, so the Le Creuset butter bowl is out for our weekly pancake tradition, and we've got a picture of it.
I'm assuming she wrote pancake, not
She
pancake.
did. Yeah.
There, everybody. She's not frying...
On the arm and
she's not frying birds.
No. Steve replied with...
So she sent a picture of the Le Creuset.
Oh,
This will keep everything. Well, what is the point, David? What is the point?
Why are we bothering?
You know, she's reading the messages out, so why do we need to join? Because you won't be able to see Olivia's Le Creuset pan.
You also won't see Steve trying to sell his own Le Creuset below.
He's using it as a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm selling these on Vinted if anybody's interested.
My goodness.
Mini casseroles, I think, 17 centimetres wide.
Mini casseroles. Wonderful performer. Are you selling her albums, Steve? I'll buy one of her albums.
And then the other main comment, from Steve.
Steve's back again. So we've got 6 other people, but it's really only Olivia and Steve.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like Olivia has potentially browbeaten Georgia into it'll make them feel better. You don't have to do anything. You can mute the group.
Yeah, just turn up and
turn up. That's going in the casserole. It's a shame we have to leave soon.
Steve says, finally got round to listening to all 22 minutes. Haven't laughed so hard in ages. I'm now working on a time machine so that I can go back and attend the Big Borough Bash, as I don't think I'll be around for the next one in another 20 years. P.S. I can't go on stage without having a wee or two beforehand, so respect to you, David.
When he says beforehand, I think that's a good idea, actually, because you want to be careful if you're doing that when you haven't had a wee, Steve. Oh, my goodness, you might get a bit of a shock.
22 minutes? How's that going to work on my hour-long promenade walk? I'll have to do an Olivia and listen to it over and over.
I wonder, Steve, because you can do a thing where you listen to things on like 1.5, 2 times speed.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you can also listen to it slower.
Yes, you can.
And how that would sound. Oh, I'm absolutely fascinated.
Should we have a little
should we try and get in which podcast should we get?
How about I just scroll down and
Scroll down on a random podcast.
Okay.
And we'll see how it sounds on the different speeds. So should we try half speed then?
Okay.
See how it sounds. I think it'll just sound like we're really drunk.
The random one is Baboon's Bottoms.
Baboon's Bottoms, a classic episode, of course.
Just a little bit.
So this is regular speed.
That's regular. We'll turn it up.
That's as argumentative as it's gone. But the thing is, we don't have many...
I reckon if you put it to half speed, we're going to just sound like we're really drunk.
From the beginning. We don't mind not having loads of listeners, but the ones that we
still talking about not having many listeners. How many years ago is this?
There's not really much point repeating the stories. So it's going to be very interesting. I've been doing lots of school stuff.
I was supposed to let me in the school.
Also, I have just got back from a gig in London last night. I think one of the reasons...
So you couldn't listen to it like this, Steve?
Because I've got a harrowing journey story. And it's we were going to tell you that.
There's the laugh, Steve. How does it sound on half speed?
This week was going to be when we told our...
Do we head back to the most recent one then, Felicity Finch one?
Okay,
Because we could also hear how...
That would sound at half speed.
Yeah, what are you up to? I just...
It's you and Horatio.
Oh, it's Horatio, right.
Ah, thank you.
Okay.
Appearance
So let's skip in and see how...
And a ratio. Not just room from the arches.
And I was counting them up. Because I have to count them now, it's so long. But actually, it's 38 years, so it's nearly 40, the same age you all are.
Yeah.
It is amazing, but I do then add that I started when I was 2 years old.
I mean, the arches itself has been going to 950.
We can't just keep listening.
It
sounds like we're stoned.
And it's remained so popular, and I didn't realise until recently that it's really popular with young people as well.
This is like the easiest. Generating content is the easiest thing to listen back to a previous podcast on slow speed. Oh dear.
Okay.
Anyway. Oh, go on. Let's just do one more. Pick another random podcast and let's just play out with another.
Podcast
Actually, what we'll do is we'll do it at the end of the podcast. We'll play out with 10 seconds or so from another podcast at the slow speed.
Well,
but before we do that,
we've got a few more comments on Facebook first.
And of course, Olivia's email and Ben's message still to come. Goodness knows how long this podcast is going to be.
In fact, the unthanks have commented, David.
So it sounds like they can't remember.
They can't remember coming along.
They can't remember being there.
And then we've got a bunch of emails to do.
Oh my goodness. Right then, where are we heading to? Oh, Ben. Should we do Ben?
Let's do Ben's, and then I'll go through the email account.
I've done the Norman Lamont one, so it's the other one, Ellie. I think it's something about naming a house, because Olivia was asking if we'd named our house, and she felt that our house should be called the Eyrie, because obviously that's where eagles live.
Well, also, there's a comment above that as well, that I don't know if you've spotted. Firstly, Cockney Gospel is fucking amazing, clapping emoji.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, but I didn't.
Right, then.
I didn't want to read that out. Well, thank you, Ellie. Emily. Oh, dear, I need to let something slip there, everybody. It's also slightly awkward, because Sean's wife is called Emily. I mean, I shouldn't be drawing attention to that.
No, you probably shouldn't.
I nearly got away with it, everyone. And then I've just...
Ben goes on to say, I've flirted with the idea...
No wonder Sean sounds stoned. He's still coming to terms with it. But, Ellie, that's not linked to us. Anyway.
Ben says, I've flirted with the idea of naming our end of terrace bungalow, but my wife Kerry won't
interesting name
allow
for an
it.
end of terrace? Sorry, continue.
But my wife Kerry won't allow it. Grrr, lol.
So I'm assuming that's not what he wants to call the end of terrace bungalow.
Probably not. No.
He's not said what name you're thinking of.
Well, I was going to read the next bit of the thing,
more.
but then you spoke.
There's more, Ben.
I want to call it something very flamboyant or over the top.
Soldier.
Could this be a thing? Oh, yes, very good. Could this be something that the listeners group can
brainstorm? It could be. If you join the listeners group, Ellie, Ben, then... Oh, I've done it again. And I called you, didn't I? When we were sleeping together, Ben, I called you Ellie. I must stop doing this. Weirdly, Ben likes it when I do the old socials voice.
Back to the emails. Claire has emailed.
Oh,
she is
Claire's back, and I did see Claire. I think we can get rid of Claire's yellow card status.
Yeah,
I saw her at a gig, and we had a lovely time, a lovely chat, a lovely hug. Another one. Sorry about calling you Ben. I got very confused. I called her Ben, Emily and Ellie, but she didn't seem to mind.
So she's listening back on older podcasts from this series.
Okay.
Mystery Sound.
Oh, so she's guessing the mystery sound.
Yes.
I mean, it has already been revealed, Claire, but it'd be interesting to see what you think. So
this is the
she must
first
already know.
mystery sound.
But she must know what it is.
But she might not have done by the time she'd emailed.
So she's not actually caught up yet? Oh, goodness.
Well, she might have done
Maybe
now.
she doesn't know about a yellow card status. I'm going. So maybe when I said we've had a nice chat and stuff, she might not actually know that I gave her a yellow card. And she hasn't come to that yet, and she's going to be absolutely... Oh, dear.
Oh, dearie me, David Eagle.
I thought we were all right, but it turns out she might not even got to that hurdle yet. I'm sorry,
know what?
Claire.
This is a 3-line email, and I've still not managed to read it yet.
And after
So-
bearing in mind what Claire said about me interrupting, this is hardly not proving her point.
Right. Hi, David and Ellie. My guess is washing machine. Keep up the good work. But it wasn't. It was the
Was that the hula hoop one?
Yes.
She is
But
far
it
behind.
does
She's
have-
not aware of a yellow card status yet.
It does have quite a washing machine sound to it, so I get that. She's then followed up with another email from either early February, the 2nd or 3rd. Brass bands and oboes.
All right.
I'm sure that someone, Ellie, will have pointed this out to you, but the biggest problem with an oboe joining a brass band is its appearance. Brass bands are made up of brightly shining brass instruments, and an oboe is made of black wood, so it would stick out quite a lot. David Eagle. The second problem is that brass instruments provide their notes through valves, whereas an oboe uses holes and keys. All the best, Claire.
Yeah, but you can still... I know what you mean, Claire. It would be difficult for an arrangement, but like different orchestral instruments have to be scored differently.
Yes.
So I think it'll be right. Interesting that you say about the appearance, but like, does it really matter? I mean, so is Claire suggesting that there's a uniformity to a brass band? If you look out into a brass band, there's a sea of that kind of colour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
How about this as a compromise, Claire? The oboe player has to silver up their instrument.
Oh, that might
So
be
it then
interesting.
looks-
Or brass up.
Brass up. She said it has a silvery colour, didn't she?
Well, it's brass. Anyway,
Shiny.
yeah, a metallic,
She
shiny...
needs to shine up your
Yeah.
oboe and skin out your pum-pums.
We have an email from Phil.
Okay.
Dear the David Eagle podcast. I like that he's gone for the full
Quite
title.
formal there. I like
Yeah.
it.
Please
Philip.
Please can Ellie manifest a theme tune for Olivia? Thanks.
Oh,
Phil.
an Olivia-based theme tune.
So for when we're about to read out her emails.
Yeah. I do think we could do the Olivia Awards,
Yes.
where we look at her finest content. Olivia, I will always Olivia you.
Olivia says, enjoyed the shorter podcast, but not as much as the long ones.
Bloody hell. I had a little thing there
You
where I
had
was
a
like,
little flutter, didn't you? That
I
you were
had a
like,
little thing. Hang on a second, Olivia. That's a
Yeah.
bit pointed, but then she redeemed it.
Was sorry I couldn't get to the Big Borough Bash, but it sounded really good. Very much enjoyed the northern greetings at the beginning of the podcast, which you just don't get down here in the south.
That was, well, we've just heard the northern greetings.
But slower. I loved the hospital radio section and the mixture of sound effects. The cockerel at the end had me in absolute stitches. And then there's 3 different laughing emojis followed by a cockerel emoji.
She's expressive with her emojis.
I know.
I know she's sending it to you, but for someone who's sending something to a blind person through an audio medium, she's got a lot of emojis going on, but I like it, Olivia. Keep up the emojis.
Emojis.
Emoji. Keep up the emojis.
Keep saying emojis.
Well, I don't emoji. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
You say emoji, I say emoji. Let's call the whole thing an emoticon.
I do call
Or would
them
you say
emoticons.
Are you saying emoticon?
Yeah. I
Rather
do
than
say-
emoticon? I say emoticon. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, okay,
You
emoticon.
say emoticon, I say emoticon. Bloody hell, never crossed my mind. That's what it stands for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Emote icon.
Yeah.
But I never actually hear anybody calling it an emote icon.
I was listening to an audiobook about the 14th century, and she keeps calling courtiers.
Oh, that's weird.
And it's really weird.
It is really strange.
And
It's
I
like all
suppose
the
it does
people,
make sense.
It's like COVID.
Yeah.
How many times on the news must those people have heard it being called COVID? But yet some people, some outliers, would call it COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, COVID. Why are you calling it COVID? Because you know everybody calls it COVID. I also listened to something recently where someone very intelligent kept referring to Epstein Island as Epstein Island. How are you calling it Epstein Island if you know that everybody says Epstein? This isn't the biggest travesty of the whole thing, by the way. Well, this is the story. This is the story, everybody. But nobody's talking about that. They're talking about the bloody victims. You know, that English teacher would be absolutely livid.
Courtiers, and I know it's
No,
because
you're
they're
right.
people of the court, but it's
Whereas-
I've always ever heard it as courtiers.
Courtiers is what was shared when Bewitched knocked what can I do to make you love me off the number 1 spot. I don't know if that's factually accurate. I was just quickly trying to think of what was around at the same time. And I suppose Bewitched and Cause. I never actually thought about that, but maybe that's the reason I connected it, because you got the Irish connection there.
Irishness.
There's a little link there, of course.
Yeah.
Talking of COVID and the cause.
Yeah.
Because isn't he the
he's
brother?
he's
Like a big conspiracy
weird
theory.
Conspiracy
Theorist.
Yeah, Jim Core.
Jim Core.
Can you name the other
That sounds-
cause?
I only think I know Andrea Core.
Yeah.
I don't think I know the others.
Caroline and Sharon.
No, I didn't know that.
There you go. I don't know why I know that, but I do. On the theme of manifesting and predicting things, this week I correctly predicted a fire drill at school. I work in a children's nursery within a primary school. I felt a pricking in my thumbs at 10:30, mentioned it to one of my colleagues, and sure enough, my lunch was cut short as we all had to rush outside at 12:30.
What did you mention, Olivia? You mentioned the pricking in the thumbs, or that you thought there was going to be a fire drill?
I think she might have mentioned that she thought there was going to be a fire drill.
Okay. And why? That's very interesting. Are you saying, Olivia, pricking of your thumbs as a sort of a figurative turn of phrase, like a figurative speech, like, that's just what, I don't know if that's what people say, or do you actually, when you feel that you're manifesting something, do you get a pricking of the thumbs? Is this like a thing that you get? And does Georgia get this as well?
Okay, so pricking of my thumbs is from Macbeth, I believe. The pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Of course. Well, back to the cause again.
Is it Macbeth? Oh, hang on, I'm going to doubt myself now.
The pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glams thou out and cordial.
Go back to cause again.
Working in a nursery, if I'm ever out and about with my Young'uns t-shirt, as I was this afternoon at our local soft play, and people haven't heard of you, sacrilege, I know, I imagine they probably just think I'm really enthusiastic about my job. Laughy emoji.
Of course, you're back with an emojis.
I sometimes wear mine to my PE lessons I go to.
PE lessons?
Well, Pilates or yoga or something.
She does yoga and Pilates. Whether the room is full of hotties doesn't really rhyme. That doesn't rhyme in an English accent.
No.
I do yoga and Pilates and the room is full of hotties. This is Madonna, obviously, I'm doing. Did you know that?
No.
From the song, Do I Have to Say Your Name? Will It Get Me Far? You remember that song? American Life, American Dream.
Right, yeah.
And she sings, I do yoga and Pilates and the room is full of hotties and I'm checking out the bodies and you know I'm satisfied. You see, you know Macbeth, but I know Madonna.
Cockney gospel is definitely the music genre I didn't know I needed until now. As someone who sings in a traditional church choir on a weekly basis, I've dealt with all manner of faith music for the last 35 years and really thought I'd heard it all. This had me howling, 3 laughy emojis.
Oh.
The final point I think you're going to be very happy with.
Oh, Olivia. If Ellie doesn't mind, then, you know... Go on.
I'm glad I'm not the only person in the world who hates dishwashers.
Quite right. And is it to do with the smell, the lingering smell?
We've had a dishwasher for 9 years and we only used it twice per year when we have a big family dinner. I just can't stand the nonsense of locking something away for 3 hours that you're bound to need in the next 10 minutes. And then there's the issue of it making things worse than when you put them in. If I wanted a bowl with immovable Weetabix glued to the inside, I'd just put the bowl on the windowsill in the sun, rather than using up gallons of water and microplastic releasing capsules to try and get it clean, in quotations. I'd then spend another 2 or 3 hours soaking the damn thing in the sink. Before you know it, the bowl has been out of use for the best part of the day, when a quick rinse once you'd finished breakfast was all that was really needed. Ah!
And
best wishes, Olivia.
Best wishes to you too, Olivia, and to you all listeners. And there's Olivia shouting out damn spot at the dishes, which links us sort of, not all the way back to about 5 minutes ago, but it feels like bloody ages ago, everybody. I think we were going to end with a random podcast. We're going to just play out with a little random snippet of a half-speed podcast.
I'm going to let you do
like a little shuffly thing.
So you need to go...
Just going to go... There. But from me, David Eagle.
And from me, Ellie Eagle Skinner.
We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
And I didn't have to be Roland Bloom.
Oh, we need what?
Well, you said, that was when I did my Michael Sheen being
Oh, goodness.
an American...
Oh, we forgot about that.
That's fine.
No.
How does he talk? He's a New York... Roland Bloom. He's a New York...
Okay, so we need to wish the listeners goodbye in the style of Roland Bloom from New York. From me, David Eagle, and from Ellie Skinner. And we'll leave the final words who will just remind you, listeners, to join the Facebook group and to email us and reach out on the old socials in the style of Roland Bloom.
You can join... the listeners of the David Eagle podcast group on Facebook. Just answer the damn questions. I'll let you in. You can also email the David Eagle podcast at gmail.com or just follow at the David Eagle. There you go.
Put your hands in the air. Wave like you just don't care. Everybody in the place, oh yeah. Everybody in the place, oh yeah. DVD with a fragment, and I talk with you tonight. Eat a bit of LSD, just for your delight.